Hey guys, Miss Pariseau here. Just wanted to go over the volume cheat sheet with you really quickly. On the front are the three formulas that we're going to be talking about and the different ways that you can see them and enter them into your calculator. But the reason I wanted to hop on really quick is because I want to make sure that you are paying attention to the step-by-step directions, especially these two steps here. When it's saying to leave your answer in terms of pi, it means leave the pi there. So that way it's more precise. Whereas if it wants you to estimate to the nearest hundredth or whatnot, you're going to, or if it says use the pi button, you use the pi button last, okay? Because we don't want to do any rounding in the process. So if you, I hear you, baby. That's my daughter. Well, she's not feeling so hot, so we are going home today. So I wanted to take you through a couple of these with the calculator so you know what I am looking for. So I'm going to do the front here with you, and then you will do the back, where it just kind of, you're going to have it in terms of pi and rounding to hundredths. And then there's three word problems here. You might want a separate sheet of paper to show your work on those. All right, so if we have a cylinder, again, make sure, check your mode. Make sure you are in classic. So remember to click on mode, blinky on classic, and then go ahead and quit or clear out. All right, and then in geometry, whatever you're doing is you kind of want to take a look at what you've been given and write it down. So if I was given a cylinder, I would write cylinder and I would start with the volume formula. And then I want to identify what I have been given. So I was given the height of 3. I was given a diameter of 4. So I'm gonna record all that information down. So there's the formula. The radius is 2 because it's half of the diameter. My height is 3. Start with your formula. I cannot emphasize this enough. Write down your formula. All right, and then fill in what you know. Then just show the substitution, no rearranging, nothing like that. Go ahead and simplify your exponents first. Remember, order of operations. Now, could you do this all in one step? Yes, of course you could. And I'm okay with that. You just got to be cautious. So we do not hit the pi key. We do not use 3.14 when you're working with me. Now, on the IXLs, they want you to use 3.14. So please make sure that you are reading directions for how you are supposed to answer. All right, so if we were done, 4 times 3, and then it's kind of like, imagine this was just an x. We would just leave that there. And we put the the coefficient in front of pi. So if we were leaving it in terms of pi, that would be it. We'd be all done. Okay, so again, if we're doing this though, I'm going to go ahead and do 12, and I'm going to hit the pi key, and I hit enter. Now remember, if it comes up still saying 12 pi, that lets you know that you are not in the classic mode, or it's somehow switched back over to math print mode, right? And then once you're there, you want to go ahead and round to the nearest hundredth. We're always going to round to the nearest hundredth. So remember your rounding rules. If you want to think this is 69, that's a 9, so it's going to round up to the next one, so it's 0.7. All right, so this was 36.699. That rounds that up to a 10, which makes that 70. Okay, now the cylinder's not too bad. You don't really have too many decimals. You're okay, baby. Okay, you don't have too many decimals that you have to worry about. What you do have to worry about are with cones and spheres here is because of this 1/3. Do not turn this in, kind of save pi and fractions for the very last step. Because if you do 1/3, shh, here you go, baby. Here, I'm gonna play with mommy's phone. Here we go. Okay. If you put in 1/3, you're going to get a repeating decimal, and the calculator's estimating it there, right? So we don't want any estimating just yet. All right, so we're going to start again. Pay attention to what information you've been given. Fill it into the formula. Plug in what you know. Do your exponents first, 36. Again, save the fraction for the very end. That's just my advice. You don't have to. I mean, I could argue that 36 goes into 3 goes into 36 easily, so that's nice too. but it's not always going to divide out evenly, so I would save the fraction for the end. So I did 36 times 12 to be 432. Then I'm going to multiply it by the 1/3. Now, the other thing that you could do is you could put this whole thing into your calculator at this step. I don't like that because in case you put it in wrong. So I'm going to put the fraction in parentheses. I'm going to then multiply it by 36, and I'm going to multiply it by 12. Notice I did not hit the pi key, okay? So I get 144. So don't forget the pi. There's it in terms of pi. Now, I don't have to retype that. I can just hit times. Do you see how it says ANS? That means it takes your previous answer, and it's going to multiply. All right, so I'm going to take my answer of 144 and hit pi. The reason that's good is, let's say this was a decimal that kept going on and on and on and on, so that way you don't have to type it over again. And just hit enter, and then round to the hundredths. Okay? All right. Now, I think in all my examples, I picked ones that are all divisible by 3 for demonstration purposes. Okay, so same thing here. Please pay attention to what you've been given. They gave you a diameter of 18. Alrighty. I prefer thinking of it this way: 4/3 pi r cubed. Some people like to do 4 pi r cubed and then divide it all by 3. They both are the same thing. If you want to wait to divide by 3 to the very end, that's fine too. All right, so again, here's what I would do if I was entering this in the calculator. I would ignore the pi for now, and I would do 4 times 9, that caret 3, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, again, because I like to show my steps in case I make an error. So there's that right there, okay? So 2,916 pi divided by 3. I'm going to, again, do not touch the pi button until you are all done. So then we're going to go ahead and hit divide by 3. See, again, that's why it's good. You can just keep everything in the calculator. We get 972. Don't forget the pi. And then times pi. And now we have our answer rounded to the nearest hundredth. Don't forget your units and to put that cubed on there. Okay? So again, the biggest thing is, like, save your fractions. Don't turn them into a decimal because then you're rounding. All right? Use the pi button. That's what I'm going to be looking for. So do not use 3.14. You may be close, but it won't be like matching what we have. And don't forget your units and putting the cubed units on there. Okay? All right, so you're going to go ahead and do that on the back. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause this video, and I'm going to go ahead and do the work, and I suggest you do the work for A, and then we will check in just to make sure that we got the same answers there. Okay? All right, go ahead and pause the video. All right, so here's where I got to on A. I went ahead and paused here because 275, when you go to do that in your calculator, all right, you do get a decimal. So, and I have not hit the pi key yet. So if that happens, that's okay. We're still going to round to the hundredths. So I'm going to leave that in my calculator, and I have 91.67. I'm just going to write that down, and then I have the pi key. So again, leave that in your calculator. Notice it's going out further. And then we're going to go ahead and hit times pi. So it's taking that previous answer and multiplying it by pi. So if I had an answer in terms of pi, I would round to the nearest hundredth and put the pi there. And it was feet cubed. All right, but if I'm supposed to be using the pi button, I'm going to leave it in the calculator and then hit pi. Okay, and I'll show you, let's just see what the difference is. So that's 287.98 feet cubed. Okay. All right, so let's say, now I'm wondering, let's just take that 191.67 times pi. Do you see how it's ever so slightly off? Like if I rounded this one to the hundredths, it would be 0.99, whereas we had 0.98. It's not a huge difference, okay, but that's what we're going to check for as far as precision goes. Alrighty, so your task is to go ahead and finish this up, and then check the website for the IXLs for you to do. 2 of them are working with volume, and the other one is review, just to try and keep some skills fresh. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to be practicing your square roots and cube roots so we can continue our Have a Cow.